This video is part 2, and to know what happened in part 1, check the description yourself. Kang last attacked the helpless, sexy victim girl without a word and stunned you, audience. So now we all flash back to the television studio, where bullies got their karma. Kang is still on his knees, rain pouring down, body soaked, soul empty. That's when a voice pierces the silence. "How does it feel?" a woman asks. He turns to see her, Lee Yu-man, head of the Hunter Association. He stares at her, confused. She smirks like she's been waiting for this moment. "You're the one who came out of the red portal 5 years ago, aren't you?" she says. Kang lunges in blind rage, but she doesn't move, doesn't even flinch. Instead, she calmly says, "I can revive your mother." Everything stops. Kang halts his attack, his blade stopping mere inches from her face. His eyes widen. "What did you say?" Lee Yu-man explains. "She's not just some pencil-pushing bureaucrat. She's the only S-rank healer alive. I can wake her up," she says, "but I'm the only one who can." Kang demands proof. Why should he trust her? And she hits him with the truth. "How do you think your mother survived all these years while you were gone? Why do you think she hasn't died despite being in a coma for half a decade? I kept her alive." Now Kang wants answers. "What do you want in return?" Lee's smile fades. Her tone grows serious. "The world's going to hell, Kang. Hunters are too powerful. Normal weapons? Useless. Countries like the US, China, and Russia are using portals to fight each other with hunters. It's a cold war, but with magic and monsters instead of nukes." Kang listens, silent, expression unreadable. She continues, "China's running out of S-rank hunters. Japan is flooding in with theirs. We're being invaded and losing. But you came back from a red portal. You're not just a hunter. You're a monster they can't predict. We need you to fight for us, quietly, from the shadows. You'll be our blade." We flash to the scene of the healer girl again, except now it's clear. Kang didn't go rogue. He chose to become a monster for the association, all in exchange for a chance to save the only person who still mattered to him. Meanwhile, in the polished office of the Japanese Prime Minister, tension thickens. Phones are ringing. Panic is spreading. Why haven't we heard from any of our hunters? The man asking the question is none other than Ryaki Judo, Japan's Prime Minister. His voice is calm, but his eyes carry the weight of an entire nation teetering on the edge of panic. Kneeling before him is Ikosai Kajaru, Japan's #1 hunter. With his head bowed in shame, Iko says it's all his fault and vows to retrieve the missing hunters. As he exits the room with purpose, he turns to his assistant and commands, "Prepare my sword." She hesitates, concern in her voice. "Are you going alone, sir?" Ikosai narrows his eyes, insulted. "Do I look like I need help?" She immediately lowers her gaze, embarrassed. He doesn't wait for a reply. He steps through a freshly opened portal, the same cursed portal where the elite team vanished. Inside, he marches with arrogant certainty, scoffing, "Useless fools, there's no way they lost to some pathetic beasts." But then, silence. The air changes, and just ahead, something catches his attention. His cocky smirk fades. Kang, sitting atop a pile of mangled, lifeless hunter corpses, like he's the final boss of an apocalypse. Ikosai's expression twists in fury. Without a word, he leaps forward and slashes at Kang's skull with a speed that splits the wind. But the strike is casually blocked, like swatting away a mosquito, and the way Kang does it? Fake, ridiculous. As if he's mocking him. Boiling with rage, Ikosai growls, "How dare a monster like you block my sword?" He goes for another blow. This one lands squarely in Kang's chest, but the boy just looks down at the wound, grinning. Interesting. No more games. Ikosai activates his ability. First Moon. A slash of lunar energy blasts Kang off his perch, sending him flying through the ruins. Before Kang can recover, Second Moon slams into him, smashing his back into a wall with a crack loud enough to shake the ground. Breathing steadily, Ikosai walks closer. "That exoskeleton of yours is tough," he mutters, before launching Third Moon. Kang counters this time. Jagged blades shoot out from his body, slicing across Ikosai's cheek. The top hunter doesn't flinch. "Cute," he says, and swings again. This time the blade carves across Kang's neck. The boy collapses, silent, motionless. dead. Standing tall, Ikosai smirks. This is what took out my team? Pathetic. But as Kang lies broken, the past floods in. He remembers his father, a kind, hard-working man who came home every night with food and a tired smile. Little Kang would always run to him, arms wide. But one day, while Kang was sprinting across the street, a truck came barreling his way. His father shoved him out of harm's way, taking the full hit. He died instantly. Everything fell apart after that. The family business crumbled, debts piled up, and his mother, once gentle and soft, worked herself to the bone, her hands rough. She always smiled for him, always said she was fine, but every night he heard her crying when she thought he was asleep. And he cried too, blaming himself for everything. One day that guilt became too much. Kang tried to end it all, but his mother found him, kneeling on the floor, shaking and broken. She held him. That's when he noticed the hardened crust forming. On his wounded wrist, something had changed. He was awakening. That day he swore an oath to become a hunter, to make her proud, to make her life better. Now lying in rubble, Kang's eyes snap open. He remembers her, Lee Human. He remembers her words. The world is the enemy now, and Japan, their top hunter, just tried to erase him. So be it. Ikosai, thinking it's over, turns his back. Guess I'll head to Korea next. That's when he hears a sickening crunch. Kang bites his leg. Ikosai howls in pain, stumbling back. What the hell? You're supposed to be dead. The boy's teeth sink in deep and blood pours out. He yells, furious, and unleashes another wave of moonlight. You think you can beat me? I'm the strongest! Raging, he grabs Kang and forces them both into his personal domain, Moon Graveyard. Here, Ikos can vanish and reappear at will, bombarding Kang from every direction. Slashes, shocks, and strikes come in waves. Kang can't find him. He's being overwhelmed. Even the portal itself begins to shudder from the force. Chunks of Kang are blasted out through the rift, flying into the real world, scattering across distant landscapes. For a moment, it looks like Ikosai has done it. He stands in the center of his shining, deadly domain, panting, victorious. But we know better, because monsters like Kang don't die easy, especially not when they've got revenge, regret, and an entire world to burn. Limping and covered in dirt, Ikosai drags his bruised body through the wreckage, groaning, "Didn't think I'd get bitten like some chew toy." But before he can catch his breath, crack, something slams into his good leg, hard. He gasps, his face twitching in agony as cold sweat trickles down. His eyes dart to the source, and there stands Kang, battered, broken, but alive, and worse, smiling. Ikosai curses and grabs his sword again, rage boiling inside. "You freak! You should be dead by now, but Kang?" He doesn't even reply. His silence is the answer. He's cornered his prey, and he's about to end this. Meanwhile, outside the portal, tension suffocates the air. Prime Minister Ryaki Judo stands with Japan's elite, eyes locked on the dimensional gate. A concerned woman whispers, "Do we really need to send all our elite hunters?" Ryaki's voice is heavy. "It's been 3 days. Ikosai hasn't returned, and he's the Minister of Defense." Before anyone can respond, something is ejected violently from the portal. Everyone watches in horror as the mangled remains of Ikosai Kajaru, their nation's pride, land in a crumpled heap. Silence falls. Then Kang steps out, their monster. The Prime Minister's jaw drops. His voice trembles as he lets out a scream, but it's cut short, permanently. Kang silences him before he can utter a full word, his hand ripping through flesh like paper. Japan's leadership shaken. Korea's watching closely. At the Korean Hunter Association, nervous chatter fills the room. Can he really do it? Japan's no joke. But Lee Yuman, calm as ever, simply says, "We'll see. If anyone can defeat Japan's strongest hunter, it's that boy." But surprise, Ryaki Judo isn't done yet. Turns out the Prime Minister didn't go down without a fight. Moments before death, he counterattacked, triggering a massive explosion that shook the world around them. As the dust clears, Kang lies, sprawled across the ground, twitching. Towering over him is Ryuzaki Judo, SS rank hunter, living weapon. national nightmare. Now we learn the truth. This is the man who turned Japan into a hunter-controlled dictatorship. Even before awakening, he was a ruthless war general. Now, he's something worse. His goal? Annex South Korea and make it kneel before his new empire. And Kang is the only thing standing in his way, but Kang doesn't stay down. He rises, regenerating, his breathing heavy. Ryuzaki narrows his eyes. The other Japanese hunters step in, ready to help, but Ryuzaki halts them. "Stand down," he growls. "Anyone who interferes dies." Suddenly, a memory surfaces in Ryuzaki's mind, a frigid day, snow falling like feathers. He had found a trembling child alone on the roadside, blue from the cold. He had knelt down, wrapped the boy in his own coat, and gently asked, "What's your name?" That child was Ikosai, now seeing the corpse of the very child he once saved, lifeless, discarded. Ryuzaki loses it. He charges Kang, eyes glowing. With rage, fists thundering like meteors, Kang defends with raw instinct, using his bare hands, but he's still weak. He can't hold off the egg juggernaut for long. One hit, two, a dozen. Ryuzaki is relentless. Blow after blow lands with brutal precision, shattering bones and slicing skin. But Ryuzaki isn't done. With a roar, he leaps and unleashes a devastating, fatal combo, a move so powerful it warps the very air around him. The sky turns gray, the world holds its breath, and then boom! A shockwave erupts, shaking the heavens. Everyone watching stands frozen as the dust settles. The earth is split, the air is dry, and Kang is nowhere to be seen. One of the stunned hunters whispers, "That's the Prime Minister of Japan." Another mutters, "He's unstoppable." Everyone watches the crater in awe. They don't know if Kang is alive or dead, but one thing's clear. The war between monsters has only just begun, but don't get comfortable. Kang may be down, but he's far from finished. Japan thought they ended him, but all they did was piss off a monster with S-class healing powers. Part 3 is coming soon. Comment if you want it faster than your salary. Subscribe too, because this story gets more brutal the longer I make these. I will meet you in the next video.